You can destroy planets, but you can never destroy what I am, friend.
What are you?
I am the hope of the universe. I am the answer to all living things that cry out for peace. I am protector of the innocent. I am the light in the darkness. I am truth. Allied to good, nightmare to you.
And you're listening to episode whatever of the Press Play Podcast. Don't know where we are. I don't think it matters really at this point.
No, it doesn't.
But just, all right, indulge me. What episode is this?
6.
Okay. Whew. These really run together after a while. Not that that's a bad thing. I just stopped counting after a while. So, yeah, this is Press Play. You can, thank you for everybody that's listening on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. One thing we do like to do, I don't know if you've noticed, is if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you get early access to our episodes. We like to put them up like that night, the night that we record, and then they go up everywhere else on Wednesday. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and subscribe. We're at Press Start Productions on YouTube. That is what we call ourselves. If you haven't followed us on Facebook, it is at Podcast Press Play. And that's all. That's enough whoring ourselves out there.
Yeah.
So now we get to the good stuff.
Oh, yes.
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm so excited about this one because this is one of my favorite things. And just because it's one of my favorite things does not mean there's going to be any. There's going to be a lot of bashing later on because with a lot of good things like Indiana Jones comes a lot of bad stuff. I think we can go ahead and admit that.
Yes, I agree.
So we're going to talk about Dragon Ball Z. I don't know if you heard from the intro, if you haven't figured it out.
Dragon, rock the dragon, Dragon Ball Z. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, buddy.
This is a franchise that has been around my entire life, and it's not even over.
No, it's not. It's still going.
Like, that is just amazing to me. Like, you would think, like with certain things just don't go away. Like, Doctor Who is still around, James Bond is still around, and Dragon Ball Z is still around. That is just awesome.
It's amazing the longevity of this series.
And it would also, just shows how great of a show that it is that it can just keep going because, just go back to the very beginning. I could honestly say when I was watching this back when I was a kid, I didn't expect this show to be on as long as it did. I enjoyed it. I didn't want it to go away, but here I am. I'm a 29-year-old man, and I'm still watching new episodes.
Yeah, because at one point everybody thought it was finite. Toriyama had stepped away, and
because it was. But people just wanted it so much. People were buying DVDs, and Adult Swim or Toonami or whatever was airing it, and they maybe we should see what we can do with this. Maybe kind of step back in, and then I think it was Battle of the Gods. They brought it back for that, for that one movie, and it did so well that they were like, you know what? Let's just keep rolling.
Yeah, I think the overall global box office for Battle of the Gods was somewhere in the 45-50 million range.
Sounds about right.
Which is it's a lot for an animated feature from Japan.
Not to mention one that was not in the theaters that long.
No, it wasn't. It was a limited run. It was in there for a month?
Maybe less, because I remember Resurrection F was in theaters for maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's all I recall. I don't remember how long Battle of the Gods was because I unfortunately didn't get to see it. I've seen it, but I didn't see it in the theater.
No, Battle of the Gods. I missed that in the theater too because it was there where we're back in Panama City. It was there for not long at all.
Yeah, and there weren't a lot of there. It was a limited run, but it was also in select theaters. So I don't even know where it was playing. That was another problem. It's like most movies you know exactly where it's playing, but when Dragon Ball Z came out, I didn't know. So I missed it. Could have looked it up, but I was lazy. So eat me.
Well, this series is one that is the history behind it is just interesting. It came out in the 80s,
which
in Japan,
if you watch it shows.
Yeah, way before anyone in the States knew really what anime was. I think the only anime that I caught when because I was alive in the 80s, because I'm old. But the only real anime that you got was probably Voltron when I was a kid.
That's probably the closest thing.
Yeah. And then it was just, and then coming into the early and mid 90s, it was just it was a niche, very, very niche. You had to exchange tapes and it was hard to find it. And then along came a little show in March of 1997 called a little block on Cartoon Network called Toonami.
Which changed the game.
It did change the game. It introduced everyone to Dragon Ball Z, because first you had Sailor Moon, you had Gundam Wing, and then their main show, the last show on that block, was Dragon Ball Z. And the first time I ever saw it, I was like, what is this? Because you had never seen anything like it before, ever. And
it was weird that they aired Dragon Ball Z before Dragon Ball.
They did, yeah. Dragon Ball didn't come about. I don't even know if regular Dragon Ball got a proper run on Cartoon Network.
I don't know if it got a run, but I remember seeing it after a while. It would come on before Dragon Ball Z. But at first, they didn't show it at all.
No, they didn't.
And then Dragon Ball would come on at, 4, and then Dragon Ball Z would come on at 4:30, which I might be wrong about the times, but that's basically how they set it up. And I remember watching a little bit of Dragon Ball and just be like, man, get to Dragon Ball Z. This Dragon Ball for me kind of... It
was a different show.
Yeah.
It was basically, for anybody that doesn't know, it was based upon the old... it was a Chinese story called
Journey of the West.
It was about Goku was basically just a little monkey boy,
Monkey King, yeah, and but if anytime we get into Dragon Ball, it's going to be very limited knowledge for me because I just couldn't do it. But
it wasn't for me. To be honest with you, I mean, so it's funny. It's at certain
it has
points.
Moments, sure, and it has great characters, but there's so much of it that I just don't care about.
Yeah.
It definitely has a lot of episodes that just drag.
Yeah.
Which Dragon Ball Z has that too, but not right away.
Well, no, not right away. And you also have to take into consideration that a lot of the things that you and I complain about movies, they're inherent in anime.
They are.
You
they
have to
are.
have a little forgiveness for it, and it's just because of the way anime is made.
Well, and I understand that, but I'm just saying, because there are parts of Dragon Ball Z that I know drag, and they drag on forever. But Dragon Ball, it seems like there's more of it, more than there should be. But that's just me. I just couldn't get into Dragon Ball. I tried, and maybe if I could ever get hold of all the DVDs, I will sit down and watch them. But right now, I ain't got that kind of money to sit down and watch them all, and I don't know where to find them.
You can find them on the internet, but
on the internet, sure, but
expensive and
yeah. But I don't feel like giving my computer a virus just so I can watch, so many episodes of Dragon Ball, because they're going to be on some shady websites. So I can't just log into Hulu and be like, hey, I want to watch Dragon Ball.
I'm sure you can watch it on things like Crunchyroll and Funimation, but
but you also have to have a subscription for that one.
Subscription and sure.
Which I might end up doing just so I'll get a subscription for 1 month just so I can knock it out and then move on with my life. But speaking of moving on, we got to get into Z. That's enough about Dragon Ball for me, because that's the limit of my knowledge.
Z is something that is, it changed animation in this country forever. So much and it also changed anime forever, because there's so much that's directly inspired by Dragon Ball Z especially.
And so much to where that I feel like it's almost a cliche to like Dragon Ball Z at this point, because there's so many people that love all these different animes that I've never even heard of. And like, do you like anime? I'm like, I like Dragon Ball Z. And they're like, that's vanilla. Fuck you. Fuck you. You know your roots.
Yeah, and I would say that I watch a lot more anime actually than you do. I'm into the Full Metal Alchemist and the Attack on Titans, Bleach, and Yu Yu Hakusho and all that stuff. But
I just missed that at the time, because when it was airing, I think I just had other stuff going on. But there are like Inuyasha I got into for a little while. I didn't give Yu-Gi-Oh a chance because it's just Pokemon with playing cards, and I just never gave him a chance, because I think that was around the time that Adult Swim was coming on, and I was watching more Family Guy and Futurama, and Adult Swim did have anime afterwards, but by that time it was late night. I mean,
it was late night, and I think originally it only started at when they were playing the Cowboy Bebops and the the samurai, I forget the name of it.
Afro Samurai?
Yeah, Afro Samurai and whatnot. They were doing that on Friday nights, really late.
Yeah, Friday was anime night, I believe. But just watching Dragon Ball Z again, this story does not start out the greatest.
No.
Like I owned the DVDs and I usually skipped right to right to the Saiyans. And I skipped Raditz.
And granted, probably the first run of what you saw, because you'll notice that voices change.
Right.
Ocean originally did the first 50 or so episodes of Dragon Ball Z. And Funimation was funding it, but then Funimation got their own in-house talent and started dubbing it themselves. And that was from episode 54 on. That's why Vegeta's voice changes and Goku's voice change. Everybody's voice changes because then they got the iconic Sean Schimmel and Chris Sabat and all the others that are so ingrained with the character, you can't not hear those voices. It's like Conroy is Batman.
Like you have a Vegito shirt on.
Yes, I do.
And I can hear his voice in my head. That's just how, you can't hear a picture, really, because I'm looking right at one. And I can hear it. I can hear him yelling in my head. But, so we get characters that were not in Dragon Ball. Like, we get Gohan. And we get Piccolo, but this is not the same Piccolo that you get from Dragon Ball.
Different because he's not the same, whatever that is.
He's like an egg.
Yeah, they were demons. Now they're slug people, and
yeah, Demon King Piccolo. No, you're an alien slug man or something. But now there's a lot of things that we're going to get into, and we're not going to go through the entire series. So we're just going to break it down like this. I want to know who in this show you love the most. Mm-hmm. Who you hate the most, and who's just kind of that fun guy.
Okay. I would probably have to say that my favorite character overall is Vegeta. And I know that is, again, people that watch the show and are fans of the show, you're copping out, you're going with a popular choice. But no, because Vegeta is the one character in this show that has a true arc.
Yeah, because, you really don't get an arc with anyone else.
Not really. Goku's the same pretty much throughout. He just gets more powerful.
Gohan, you could argue, maybe has an arc. He kind of learns to grow up during Cell and whatnot. But Vegeta's was truly memorable, and I could watch that 1 5-minute clip any time of the day.
Oh, where he sacrifices himself?
Yeah, where he sacrifices himself, and there's going to be a little weepy. A little weepy. Just
Absolutely.
Like watching the Scrubs finale. The real one, season 8. There is no season 9.
No, there isn't.
But yeah, okay. Vegeta, awesome choice.
I love Vegeta's angle. I love how he starts off as the show's main villain, basically in the Saiyan saga after Raditz comes down, and then he eventually it grows into a bitter rivalry and then a reluctant alliance.
Yeah.
And then he becomes a family man.
Because this is a very slow-moving arc, too, but it's worth the payoff.
It is, because one day he just kind of wakes up, and he's like, why am I doing this? This is not the Saiyan warrior that I was. I've disgraced my heritage, and I don't care about this anymore, and he submits to Babidi.
Yeah, that was the greatest build-up to his arc, is he, like you're saying, he realizes where he is in life. And he even tells Goku, he's like, I hate what I've become, and I gave myself to Babidi. He didn't take over my mind. I let him do this.
And there's one moment in the show is when he's possessed, when he's Majin Vegeta, and the Supreme Kai asks him, why do you, something to the effect of, why do you care so much about your own strength, and why does that matter, and so on and so forth. He said, watch your race be dwindled down to a handful and tell me what matters more than your own strength. It's pride with him, and that's Vegeta in a nutshell.
Yeah,
and it's just it's interesting to see, especially later on, what he becomes, because when we get into Super, he becomes something else entirely. He's still that proud Saiyan, and he's a warrior, but he's got his family and friends on his mind now.
Yes, and that is when you see that when he sacrifices himself, he even admits he's doing this for Trunks and Bulma and even Goku because he put that all aside. And yeah, he's still a prick.
Yeah.
He's still an ass.
Yeah.
But he will go. He's now one of the good guys, and he will fight tooth and nail and even give up his own life to protect these people. One of the best character arcs in anything in pop culture.
Yeah, I think so too. It's a very satisfying end to his story, and just to watch, like I said, just to watch how he grows even further is just it's just interesting. I love Vegeta. The character
Well, we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to my favorite character.
Okay.
If I did not love Vegeta so much, it's like right there. I love Krillin. Krillin is one of my favorite characters because this is a human man who is constantly fighting androids and alien gods and magicians, and he is always right there next to you.
Always giving his best.
Always giving his best, knowing that this is probably going to be my last fight. I'm probably going to die today. Gives it his all. So even Krillin's trying. And he gets probably one of the greatest rewards for being that, and that is Android 18.
Android 18, yep.
Man, I did not, when I first watched this show, and I saw this beautiful blonde android, and you tell me from the very first moment you see her, like, hey, she's going to end up with Krillin. What the fuck did you just say to me right now? No, she's not. And on top of that, he named their daughter after his ex-girlfriend. Krillin is a pimp.
Yeah, he is.
He named their daughter Marin. I can't believe that. That woman can blow up a planet and kick his ass no matter what. And she just let him do it. That man's either got game or something. I don't know.
But no, he holds his own with these they're basically demigods.
Yeah.
All these people.
Absolutely.
And he just holds his own with them because he's trained that hard, and he's still considered one of the most powerful fighters on the planet.
I think, I honestly believe, he is I don't believe that it's Tien or Yamcha. I think that Krillin is the most powerful human being that exists.
Yeah, it's between he and Tien.
Tien, I gotta agree, and you definitely see that in the Tournament of Power. Just everybody giving it everything that they've got. I absolutely love, and I think it was Resurrection F, but it was the TV episodes, not the movie itself. Because they're two very different things. If you ever watched the movie and the TV show, there's things that are cut out, things that are put in.
Yeah.
In the TV show, I believe, Krillin is going up against Frieza's henchmen, and he's freaking out. He's terrified because, Frieza killed him. But he's terrified to fight the henchmen, and his muscles just react and start moving around. And Master Roshi's telling him, he's like, listen, you fought gods and androids. You are more powerful than these people. Your body is doing that because of how good you actually are. Let it go. And then he just starts whooping ass.
Yeah.
It's great. I love Krillin. Always have.
I have too. Krillin's a great character. He's always fun to watch. But the character I hate? Oh, God, that's hard.
It doesn't even have to be like a main character, because for me, the character I hate the most is what ruins Cell for me.
I was actually going to go there.
Okay.
Hercule and his little minions.
Yeah, Hercule and Johnny Firecracker, or whatever his real name is, but
yeah,
that honestly would be, Cell Saga would be my favorite if it weren't for those two.
Yeah.
I like Mr. Satan. I didn't like him in Cell, but I like him later on. I don't love him. I just like him. Especially when, you get into post-Boo.
Yeah.
But them cutting in every 10 minutes of some of the greatest fights that I've seen in this show so far, just with their stupid wise-ass, it's all a trick. It's a trick. Like, I don't need to hear this every 10 minutes. Kill them.
Kill them now.
They were the worst part of that that saga, and it makes Cell number 2 for me. It would be number 1 if it was not for those two.
I got to say that they might be the worst part of Dragon Ball Z, period.
Well, not quite.
To me, they just make my skin crawl. I can't stand them.
No, what's worse than them is the Great Saiyaman. There were at least, I don't know, 10 episodes just following adult teen Gohan around in school. That's not Dragon Ball Z.
It was. Gohan is the biggest waste of a character ever. I don't know why.
Biggest waste of my time.
And I think at this point in the series, Toriyama wasn't heavily involved.
Probably
I think he
not.
had already stepped away.
Probably because, look, this is post-Cell. Right after Cell goes away, you have the Otherworld tournament, which I liked, where Goku's fighting Pikkon in the Otherworld. Those were fun. It's just more Dragon Ball Z, even though it has nothing to do with the story. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. And then you show us Gohan in high school playing superhero. It was so boring.
It was boring as hell.
It was a travesty. It was nothing. It was a disgrace to Dragon Ball Z.
I agree. Because what you got from when Gohan defeats Cell, it was like he was being passed the torch.
He was being passed the torch because
and they wasted it.
They basically did all but tell you Gohan is the new Goku. Because Goku is gone. He's like, I'm not saying goodbye, but I'm going to stay dead for a while. And Gohan's like, don't worry, Dad. We got this. We can take care of this. And then you wasted him. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's because you wanted to put Goku back in the fold, or you just gave up on Gohan, but it was embarrassing.
That's the worst part of the Buu saga. The biggest missed opportunity is not making Gohan the main character in that.
No, you tried to bring him back. You tried to make him a badass, and when he takes out the Z sword, and you get Elder Kai, and he sits there trying to unlock his potential for like 5 hours of my life.
It does take forever.
I think the Frieza fight between Goku and Frieza took less time. But Gohan just sitting there on his ass finally gets a chance to fight Majin Buu and gets wasted 2 episodes later. Gohan is a joke in this saga. And
he shouldn't be. I don't know why they decided to go that way with him, because everybody was rooting for Gohan. They wanted him to be the main character, and it never came about that way.
Yeah,
they stuck with Goku.
Yeah, because once you start driving once Frieza's over, you start giving us, more attention to Gohan and a little bit more with, because there was kind of it was kind of like Goku and Gohan shared the same screen time almost, because they were on screen a lot together.
They were.
And they were kind of weaning you off of Goku. Mm-hmm. And then they just decided, no, screw that. Everything we just did is wrong. We're gonna just Gohan gets a back seat. We're gonna give you more Goku. In which I was starting to like Gohan more than Goku up till he defeated Cell. I'm like, dude, Gohan's the man. And then they wasted him. It was embarrassing. I hated it. It's fucking embarrassing.
But yeah, I just that might be my hugest issue with the show is Gohan's mistreatment. Absolutely, just rushed and poor writing, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that they kept wanting to end, or Toriyama kept wanting to end Dragon Ball Z, and Toei wouldn't let him. They kept saying, "Nope, give me another villain, give me another villain, give me another villain." And that's why Cell took on 3 different forms, and that's why we got Buu in 5 different forms. And
yeah, every single villain has to have at least 3 different transformations.
Yeah,
like, God, come on.
But that's another thing about Dragon Ball Z that you look at it from the outside, you look at it just on the surface. It's a bunch of yelling and fighting and powering up and transformations. But that's part of what makes the show. I don't know. It's addicting.
I will agree with you, but I hated it. I hated when Frieza did it, because Frieza could have done this at any time. At least with Cell and Buu, things had to happen to these characters for them to get to the next level.
Well, I will say that Frieza, when you find out that he's been able to do this entire time, it made him that more threatening, because Goku's come up against great odds before. But now you've got this monster who is nigh invincible. He can breathe in space. He destroys planets on a whim, and now he just keeps powering up, and Goku just can't get there to him, and he near kills him at a certain point.
At a certain point, it was a last-ditch effort with the Spirit Bomb, which doesn't work at all, except for once. Like, the Spirit Bomb only worked one time. Like, think about it. Well, in canon, it worked against Android 13, but that doesn't count.
No, it doesn't. No, the movies don't count.
No, they don't. But that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I like you teach him the Spirit Bomb is like this all powerful weapon. It doesn't even kill Vegeta.
No, it doesn't.
Stop going to that.
No, Kaioken killed Vegeta, or not, or incapacitated Vegeta. It didn't kill him. But when you go into the transformation part of it, most of the time the bad guys have to have something external. They've got to hunt down another android, or they have to absorb another fighter to become more powerful. The transformations of your heroes all come from within. They have to try harder. They have to
train more.
They have to train more. They have to overcome these odds, and that's basically what Dragon Ball is all about: is overcoming obstacles and making yourself better.
Which is why Superman will always beat Goku.
Yes.
We're not going to talk about that. So, what? Like I already said, Cell was my second favorite saga. What is yours? What is your favorite saga?
Favorite saga? Frieza. I gotta say Frieza, and that simply might be because I saw it when it first came on.
Right.
Because for a long time they released it in spurts on Toonami. You got up until Goku fights and beats Vegeta, and then it started over. All the way to Vegeta, started over. And it did that for a while. And then you got to Namek, where you got all the way up to Ginyu, and then it starts over. You get up to Ginyu, and it starts over. And then you get into Frieza.
That sounds annoying.
Yeah, it did get that way for a while, but you kept wanting to watch it.
Right.
Simply because this was way before DVRs and all that stuff. So, sometimes you'd miss them. So you'd want to go and, I haven't seen this episode yet, and so on and so forth. But
which is why you have previously ons.
Yes, exactly.
I want it, like I feel like Frieza is too easy. I honestly think I like the Android saga more because it doesn't heavily deal in Goku. It's about Goku, but he's
not there.
He's not there a lot. And
Vegeta's leading that charge.
Yeah, you get more time with these other characters. You meet Trunks for the first time, who's amazing. You get more time with Tien and Piccolo. Yamcha gets fisted. It's just I hate Yamcha so much.
I don't know what this Yamcha is, but it sounds a lot like Raditz.
and you get a lot of time with these other characters. This show doesn't have to be about Goku. And that's what I like the Android saga a lot. And you get these super powerful enemies who don't get stronger. They're just built this way. They're built omni-powerful. You can't. Yeah. None of them can beat them until Piccolo had to finally make a choice. And I liked this saga in particular because we get something new with Piccolo. He has to finally swallow his pride, go to Kami, and be like, "Listen, I would never ever come back to you unless I didn't absolutely need to. This planet is going to die if we don't fuse back together."
Yeah.
And that was a great moment for him. They had great moments in this series, or in that saga, that were not about Goku.
And you also get to see how much of a shitstorm things would have been had Vegeta been leading anything at that point in his life.
Yeah.
Because he was reckless and just wanted to...
He just wanted to show off.
He wanted to show off and fight because he's finally the Super Saiyan.
And how quickly bravado falls flat on your face when you're flat on your ass. Because as soon as he goes Super Saiyan, somebody else shows up and just beats the ever-living shit out of him. It is just, I feel bad for him. It is not fair. Every time he gets somewhere, somebody just smacks him back down. It's like
Every time.
every single time he finally gets he defeats the Ginyu Force. He's like, I'm more powerful than Frieza. Frieza powers up, bitch slaps him like a bitch.
And then Vegeta cries.
Yep.
But that's also another great Vegeta moment is when Frieza kills him. And he's telling Goku that
You're
you're it. You're the last Saiyan. And Frieza's the one who destroyed our planet and wiped us out. And I don't know. I think from that point on, I was really hooked on Dragon Ball Z. Because that's why I love I think that's why I love the Frieza saga so much, is because the whole build up to Goku powering up and finally transforming into Super Saiyan into a Super Saiyan was so iconic.
Oh, it absolutely will be. I mean, you could watch that one part. Krillin blows up. He goes Super Saiyan. That's a moment in history right there.
Yeah, it is.
Not just Dragon Ball history, just in animation. Mm-hmm. Because that moment is so iconic.
Everything that this show introduces. I mean, for God's sake, you wouldn't have Hadoukens and fighting games if it weren't for Kamehameha. That
is true. And I don't know which one I love more.
You just there's so many things owe so much to Dragon Ball Z. Fighting games owe a lot to it. All the shonen shows that came after it owe their life to Dragon Ball Z. Uh-huh. All your Narutos and your Bleaches and your
One
Piece, they all owe everything to Dragon Ball Z because it's basically that same framework.
Yeah, I can't not agree with you. Now,
but you get to a certain time passes, and then Dragon Ball Z, it finally ends with Oob. I think that's the last part.
Wow.
Which is
that is a whole other shit show.
Reincarnated, but that's actually a saga that I have seen bits and pieces of.
That is a shit show. GT is a joke because it picks up right where it leaves off. Goku and Uber training, but it picks up at the end of their training. It's like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
Have fun, go protect your village or whatever. And then Goku gets turned into a child that episode. And it is a joke from there on out. They spend most of their time in space with two characters who are the biggest pains in the ass. Because you've got Goku back, who's basically a child regardless of what size he is. And you've got Trunks, who is not the Trunks that we saw in Cell. Completely different Trunks. And he's much less powerful, I noticed. And you've got Pan, who is a pan in my ass. She is so stupid. I hate Pan so much. She's just in the way. When they're going out to space to look for these Dark Star Dragon Balls, which is what half of the show is, you get Goku recruiting Trunks and Goten. Okay, cool. But Goten just gets left behind because he's on his phone when the rocket takes off. It's a joke. And then you get the other half of them fighting the dragons inside the Dragon Balls, which is sometimes fun and sometimes really stupid. It gave us Super Saiyan 4, but I could care less about Super Saiyan 4.
Me too.
It does nothing for me. Super Saiyan God is where it's at.
Yeah. And after GT ended, which Toriyama had absolutely nothing to do with.
And it shows.
And I find it interesting. I really do that because I think they stopped making them in or they stopped giving us new episodes in 2002.
Something like that.
And there was still such a rattle for it. The fans still wanted more.
High demand.
They re-release it with Kai, which is basically a
It's a condensed version.
It's a condensed version. They take out most of the filler.
Yeah.
Most of the filler episodes.
Which I appreciate. Because I don't know if you know, Do you know how long from start to finish Goku versus Frieza actually is? It's over 3 hours.
Yeah, I was about to say 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, if you just marathoned it, cut out all the next times and previously ons, it is over 3 hour fight. That is insane.
And I think in Kai they condensed it down to an hour.
Which, hey, right on.
Yeah,
cut out a lot of the talking.
Which and Kai was #1 on Fuji TV for a very long time, and then around the 08 or somewhere in there,
08, 09,
we get a little gem called Dragon Ball Evolution, a bastardization of the Dragon Ball Z source materials. It was a live action film that all fans hate, casual audiences didn't care, and Toriyama went on record to say that Dragon Ball Evolution pissed him off so much that he decided to make Battle of the Gods. So we kind of owe Dragon Ball, we kind of owe the resurgence of Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball Evolution.
I just while you were talking about Dragon Ball Evolution, I just done popped over to Rotten Tomatoes. Wow, that is a lot higher than I thought it would be. Dragon Ball Evolution has a 15. I was expecting a 2.
Has a 15%?
15%.
Who liked this movie?
I don't know, but that's the critic score. The audience score gave it a 20.
Ugh.
That means there are people out there that apparently have never seen Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball or Dragon anything, and just walked into this movie like, oh, that was cute. That was kind of fun. I liked it. No.
No, it wasn't.
Even if you've never seen Dragon Ball anything, this movie is a travesty.
It is. It was. I don't even want to talk about it. It's that depressing. I never want to talk about that movie. The only reason I mention it is because of Toriyama's reaction to it.
The only thing I'll say about Dragon Ball Evolution is this. I have a friend who works out in Los Angeles, and she was helping, apparently Justin Chadwick, who played Goku in the movie, is in a band, and she took a picture of him. She's like, I'm helping them do the sound check, and I messaged her immediately. I'm like, hey, tell that motherfucker I want my money back.
Please tell me she told him.
She didn't say anything. She's like, I'm not saying that at all. I'm like, all right, whatever. Well, I still hated it. So after Dragon Ball Evolution, like, I can understand Toriyama being like, what did you do to my baby?
Yeah, exactly.
You bastardized my baby. So I gotta fix this. And fix it he did.
Mm-hmm,
he fixed it.
You get Battle of the Gods, which was a limited theatrical release movie, feature-length Dragon Ball film, which we had never got.
No, we hadn't. And
it was canon.
It was canon, and it was visually stunning.
It was up until that point. It is the best that Dragon Ball had ever looked, in my opinion. The animation is fluid. The artwork is just phenomenal.
The fights are very well choreographed, and you can damn near see everything that's going on.
And another thing I like about it is they lose.
Yeah, they lose, but they don't really. Well, I don't want to call it a loss. It's more of a draw because they kind of just quit fighting.
He lost the fight, but because Beerus thinks that Goku is such a great guy, he decides to spare Earth.
No, you know what it was? It was Bulma's food.
It wasn't.
But hey, one of the greatest moments of Super was when Beerus bitch slaps Bulma. And Vegeta he lost his mind. He only went Super Saiyan and was doing things to Beerus that Goku at Super Saiyan 3 could not do.
Yeah, Vegeta went ape shit, dude.
Which was apes, because they're Saiyans. I get it. But yeah, and then they announced that because Dragon Ball Battle of the Gods did so well, they're like, you know what? We're just going to do more Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were going to do more Dragon Ball, but they didn't do it right away because after that we got
Resurrection F. The next year, wasn't it?
I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years later. It was not right away. And wow, I think Resurrection F was better than Battle of the Gods because I loved Frieza so much, and it's like, this is the return of the most iconic villain of Dragon Ball's history. And man, that movie was great.
Yeah, and that's the one I got to see in the theater.
I saw that one in the theater too, and I remember seeing it. It was like 4:00 in the afternoon on a Saturday.
Yeah,
packed house, and these were the biggest nerds I'd ever seen in my life, and I felt right at home. I was sitting there screaming with the rest of them.
Yeah, I was too. It was great to actually see it on the big screen for the first time ever.
But
Resurrection F does something that
I cannot forgive.
No, me either.
And okay,
you take away the opportunity for Vegeta to finally avenge his people.
yes, you've seen Resurrection F. At the end, Goku's been fighting him this entire time, and Vegeta's just standing there like, when is it my turn? And you finally see Vegeta go Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. He skipped God.
Yeah, he just goes straight to blue.
Goes straight to blue. And even Goku's like, I thought only, Goku could do that. And Goku's like, nah, Vegeta figured it out. And Rex Frieza's shit.
Yes, he does.
And has one of the coolest lines. He got him on his knees, about to blow him up, and don't even think about resurrecting again. And they took that from us.
Yes, they did.
Well, first of all, Frieza cheated, which, of course, that's Frieza. And then Whis turns back time, and then Goku steps in. Instead of just yelling, hey, do it now, he just had to he stole the win. And that's a win stolen from me.
Yeah,
because
me too.
I wanted that win for him.
Because all of a sudden you just hear, Frieza! And it's Goku, and he punches through him, and I'm just like, no.
Before I even saw this movie, I'm like, it better be Vegeta that takes him out. And I was heartbroken.
Everybody wanted that, and Toriyama has gone on record for not liking Vegeta very much. He doesn't like him as a character. He doesn't like writing him, which it is unfortunate because
I love Vegeta.
God, man, if we could go back and have Vegeta just kill Frieza, and that would have been great, but. Because of Resurrection F and its success, because it was more successful than Battle of the Gods, it had it was 60 to 70, 60.5 million, I think, global box office, and
for like I said earlier in this podcast, it was. I remember it being in theaters for like 2 weeks, maybe, and there was only one theater in town that had it, and we're from a town that has 3 movie theaters, only one,
and. I think it wasn't long after Resurrection F was announced or was in theaters that Toei Animation and all of them came out and said, you know what? There's a new Dragon Balls anime coming, and our minds just popped.
What? Are there more movies, or can I sit at home?
And then we get Dragon Ball Super, which started in 2015. The brand, it's still going on.
It's still on Adult Swim.
Yeah, they're doing it on the Toonami run. And Dragon Ball Super has a very troubled beginning.
I will agree, because not only that, but they kind of cheated with Dragon Ball Super because they just re-released Battle of the Gods and Resurrection F.
And that's part of the problem, is when fans started, especially when I started to watch it, because I was watching it on Crunchyroll, I was watching all the subs. And when I saw that it was just Battle of the Gods and Resurrection F over again, I was like, oh, you're kidding me.
You lied to me.
And then you see just how bad the animation was. In the first 2 arcs, the animation is of very poor quality, and that actually it doesn't have anything to do with budgets. It doesn't have anything to do with new talent or anything like that. A lot of the people that were working on this show are 20-year, 30-year veterans. They had been with Toei Animation a long time. The problem was scheduling, because it takes anywhere between 8 to 15 weeks to make a Dragon Ball episode. And they were doing episodes inside of 2 weeks, and you can tell. Yeah. Because it's rushed. Instead of all the dynamic camera moves that you have for Dragon Ball Z and in the movies, how smooth and fluid the choreography was, everything's shot from way back, and it's just very stunted movement, and just Goku dodging things and Beerus dodging things, Frieza just kind of dodging things. It just doesn't look good. It's not compelling. It doesn't draw you in. And a lot of people were turned off by it. Well,
I was not, because, like I said earlier, the TV episodes of Battle of the Gods and Resurrection F had more in them. Like, I remember, like, one of the biggest examples I have is if you watch Resurrection F, the episodes, Captain Ginyu was not in the movie, but he was in the show. Mm-hmm. And I remember watching it like, this wasn't in the movie. Captain Ginyu, he's alive, and he takes over like maybe an episode and a half, which I thoroughly enjoyed because I liked seeing him again, and he took over a much more powerful body and got used to its power so quickly and gave Gohan or Piccolo or whichever a run for their money, and it was great to see that. I liked how they added extra things in it, but you're right.
It started off troubled, and then comes the next saga, which is the Universe 6 saga.
Yeah, and here's the only problem I have with Super is I love watching it. It's so much fun. It's just tournament after tournament.
Everything's very contained. There's no
real big bad. It's just who's coming out on top of both of these tournaments. That's what it is. Yeah. Which is fine. But
you do start to see an uptick in the quality of animation in the whole Universe 6 arc. Mm-hmm. You get Saiyans from another universe. Then Vegeta takes one as his own under his wing. Kaba, I think is
Kaba. Yeah, and you've got Whis' brother. They have this stupid rivalry, and then you get introduced to these bigger Dragon Balls or something.
Super Dragon Balls.
I didn't care for that.
Yeah,
I did not care for that whole thing. Like, can you just fight because you hate each other?
For real.
And you've got Hit, who was badass until the Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
But I loved watching Hit because I was like, what is this dude going to do?
Oh, one of my favorite moments is when Goku's fighting Hit.
Yeah, and he has to. He could have destroyed his body trying to even land a hit on Hit because he had to go Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, and Kaioken times like what
times
10, 20? Yeah, which
that yell that Schimmel gives, dude.
Yeah, and he did not. And he'd never tried this before. He said he was saving it for when he battled Beerus again. And Beerus was like, you were going to use that on me? I feel like if he had, he probably could have beat him. I don't know.
Probably could have.
Because we don't know really the extent of Beerus' power to this day. Mm-hmm. We may never know. Just like with when you watch Broly, you see Whis fight Broly for about maybe 10 seconds, and Whis is just dodging. Like, what is Whis capable of?
Smiling and laughing.
Oh, you almost
that
got
was
it.
close.
That was close. Like, what is Whis capable of doing? Are they ever going to fight? And actually, make it a good one? Because every time you've ever seen Whis fight Goku and Vegeta, he's just dodging. Not even touching him.
No, you can't touch him.
So the Universe 6 tournament, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then you lead up into the whole Goku Black and Zamasu with Future Trunks.
Right.
Future Trunks makes a return.
Well, before we go to that, my problem with the Tournament of Power is you had Piccolo, Vegeta, Goku, and who else was on their team?
Goku. Boo.
Okay, so and then you've
Boo.
got this other guy. I understand putting Majin Buu on your team, but the fact that he got thrown out because he couldn't pass an exam was stupid. So you brought this other guy in just to motivate Goku to be the best because Beerus was spilling this bullshit about how he's literally the strongest character that Beerus has ever seen, and Goku wanted to be better than that. Why not just use the fact that those characters on the other side of the tournament are the most powerful and use them? Like, Goku wants to beat them. That's the point of the tournament. He doesn't have to be better than somebody on his team. You wasted the opportunity to have Gohan on your team. Or 18 on your team. It doesn't matter. But I just felt like that was a waste of. It was stupid.
You're talking about the original Universe 6 tournament?
Yes. When they've got this other guy on their team, the small guy who just sits there the entire time, and Goku's like, oh, I wonder what he's capable of. But it was a lie the entire time.
Yeah.
Like that. I can't even remember his name. It was so stupid.
I don't remember it either. But
Zamasu.
Zamasu is
probably the most fun I've had in Super.
Yeah, Zamasu in Black.
Because there was actual stakes involved. Well, I know that there were stakes in the Tournament of Power because your universe could get destroyed, but this was the first real bad guy we got in Super.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the first villain.
Yeah, and it was really cool when you find out what Zamasu actually is. He was a Supreme Kai in training. And Goku humiliated him by kicking his ass, and then he took the Super Dragon Balls, took Goku's body, and became a monster. He took his power. I thought when you first found out that this was Goku, this Goku Black character was Goku, but Zamasu took a hold of him, I was like, that just blew my mind. That's cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. And when you see Black kill Bulma,
yeah. Oh, that hurt.
Mm-hmm. That really hurt. And Trunks, my goodness, he never fails to impress when it's future Trunks.
Yes, but not the Trunks we got in GT, but future Trunks, hell yeah. But what disappointed me about the Zamasu episodes was just like with Battle of the Gods, there was no winner because Goku kind of cheated and used the main god to just erase everything.
Yeah. That was a very, very dissatisfying end to that whole arc. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
I thought it was cheap.
Yeah, you kind of cheated. You go to the main god. He's like, all right, I'm just going to destroy the universe, and I mean all of it.
Mm-hmm.
This universe does not exist, and then you take Future Trunks back in time and just let him kind of live out his life. That timeline was confusing.
It was.
Like, it didn't make sense. I'm like, you're just putting him in another place in time. There's still, I mean, if you let this play out, you're just gonna do that all over again. I think. I don't understand.
I don't understand Dragon Ball time travel at all. It just none of it makes any sense.
Not to me. I mean.
But after that, you get the Tournament of Power, which is what's still airing on Toonami right now.
Yeah, and I am not finished with it because I did not get. I don't watch subs.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer dubs. That's just me personally, because if I wanted to read, I'd open a book.
I watched the subs when they were coming out just because I wanted to see what happened.
Mm-hmm. So I can tell you right now where I'm like, we're doing a podcast on a show I'm not even done with. How much sense does that make? So where I am now is Tien is out because you've got this universe of power. 12 fighters from 9 universes. Yeah. And Krillin is out. And Tien is out.
No. 9 fighters from 12 universes. Yes, 12 universes.
Okay. So Krillin and Tien are out. Master Roshi, the last episode I saw, he's on his way. Mm-hmm. Because he ain't got no more steam.
You haven't even got to the good stuff yet.
Oh yeah, I've only seen this because I know what Jiren is and what he's capable of because I'm not an idiot. I own I have a Facebook page. I've seen the clips. Okay, you're not gonna be a Dragon Ball fan and not see clips of Ultra Instinct or Jiren going all out or Frieza versus Jiren. I've seen them, but I haven't watched the entirety of it.
Right.
I know how this ends. It's a Dragon Ball show. I know how this ends.
You think you do?
I think I do.
But I don't know. The Tournament of Power probably has my favorite moment ever in Dragon Ball Z, in Dragon Ball period. And that's when Goku is fighting Kefla, which is it's two female Saiyans from another universe
right.
that have fused.
I know what moment you're talking about.
Yeah, where he's gone Ultra Instinct and
one of those female characters was basically their universe's equivalent of Broly.
Yes.
So they're fused.
They're fused together. She's gone all out with her power, and he's dodging everything, and the whole time he's building up a Kamehameha wave. He dodges what's
and she starts getting cocky. She's like, once you fire that, you can't move.
Yeah, she tells him because he dodges again and he's in the air. She said, "Nice try, Goku. You can't dodge in midair. Game over." And she fires her little wave, and then he turns upside down and skates over the top of it, holding his charged Kamehameha
and blasts her right
in the face. And they use the rule of 3 to make it more impactful.
It was
3 times. It's epic. I could watch that over and over and over again. It was sick. But I won't spoil how the Tournament of Power ends for you.
Okay.
I won't do that, but do know that it kind of gets into the Dragon Ball Z formula of kind of dragging things out.
Right.
You'll get a little confused.
This Tournament of Power is dragged out because it's a 42-minute tournament that lasts about 100 episodes.
And it's because the way they tell the story, all the fights that you're seeing are happening simultaneously. They're just cutting to them, which can be confusing if you don't know what's going on.
Right.
But, it's just how they pad the show, which is inherent in anime. If it were a Netflix series, like just a normal TV show, I'd have a lot of problems with that.
Yeah.
But with anime, you do have to kind of forgive it because the animation can get ahead of the manga, and they can't if they get ahead of the manga, they have to do filler.
Yeah.
So I don't, and it's just because they make these guys come out with it every single week, and it's just grueling work. These guys work so hard to draw these shows up, because people forget these are all still hand drawn. There's a lot of talent and a lot of passion that goes behind this stuff. So you'd have to forgive what is inherent in anime, and that's padding and filler and just to make sure that this stuff comes out every week, because it comes out every single week on Fuji TV. But the Tournament of Power ends in Japan, and then we get the best thing that Dragon Ball, in my opinion, has ever done, and that is Dragon Ball Super Broly. Akira Toriyama finally coming back and retelling the origin of the Saiyans
and making it
and making Broly not stupid
and making him canon. More importantly,
making him canon,
because none of the movies that take place in Dragon Ball Z are canon. Not a single one.
None of them,
except maybe the history of Trunks. But that's only canon because it tells you his story.
This is true.
That's the only one that counts. But Broly being canon was the greatest gift they could have given us.
Yeah, because they finally make his character, his motivations make sense.
Yeah, his motivations were, oh my God,
garbage in the first movies.
They were so dumb. He hates Kakarot because Kakarot cried a lot for like 3 hours one time. That is the dumbest. Reason to have a villain.
Then he hears the name Kakarot, and that's what pisses him off. Give me a break. I remember hating that movie, actually.
I remember I liked the action, but when they explained it, I was like, are you kidding me? I even love, if you watch Dragon Ball Abridged, Vegeta even says, didn't my father stab him? Why doesn't he hate me? No. And Paragus, his father, goes, no, I hate you because of your father. Broly hates Kakarot because he cried. A lot. But that's so dumb.
But he's so cool.
But that's so dumb.
It is so dumb.
Yeah, that movie is not my favorite. But it's definitely in the middle for me. But if you want to talk about favorite movies, Broly Super Broly is one of them. But I have always had a fondness for BoJack, because again. Yeah. Goku's not there. It's Gohan having to do Gohan things, and he's fresh off of Cell, and it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, I like the BoJack film.
The explanation for why he's here is kind of cool. You know, he was trapped in Supreme Kai's planet, and once Goku blew that up, BoJack was free, and now Gohan has to deal with it. I thought it was a lot of fun, but Bio Broly and Broly 2 or whatever, dog shit.
Yuck.
And Android 13 was a lot of fun. I don't care for the Dead Zone.
No, me either.
I don't care for shit. I can't remember the other ones right now because they don't even matter.
No, they don't.
Tree of Might, I don't care for. I don't like Lord Slug.
Nope.
But you know,
again, the Toriyama had nothing to do with any of the movies. That's why they're not canon. They're just little side stories that just kind of happen.
Yeah, and they definitely show, because not one time, if you pay attention, not one time does Frieza mention a brother.
Nope.
That's Cooler does not exist in canon. He's not even there. I don't even remember him mentioning a dad, to be honest with you. But that's that's neither here nor there. Wow,
But when you get into Broly and actually watch, I love how they handled Bardock. I love how the cast was kept tight. You didn't have everyone from the Dragon Ball Z universe coming in to fight everybody. It was a very contained story.
The only people that were there were Frieza was there, Goku and Vegeta were there, Whis and Bulma were there. Beerus wasn't even around.
No, he sat there babysitting the whole time, and you see him twice, and he's got like 15 seconds of screen time. But no,
and it also had a very satisfying ending. Like there wasn't a winner, but I enjoyed what they did.
Yeah,
because you have this woman that doesn't see Broly as an animal, and she's like, I want take Broly home, and he just kind of cools down, and Goku just leaves him there. They even talk at the end. Which I don't even did Broly even speak any other words besides Kakarot in the movie?
Towards the beginning.
Okay, I don't remember that. But I'm talking about in Super Broly. I know he talks, but in the original Broly, I don't even think he says a word.
No, he doesn't. He just says Kakarot.
Yeah, at least this one he's intelligent and he can talk and think and whatever. I like that they actually had a conversation. He's like, hey, if you ever want to train,
he's a tragic character. You feel sorry for him because Paragus is a bastard.
Yeah, and he got his comeuppance.
Yes, he did, big time. And it's a mirror image of when he shoots Beats to save food when they first get stranded.
Yeah,
and then when Frieza kills Paragus, it's the same shot, and I love it. Oh no, it's a tragedy!
Look what they did! They killed your father.
And then he just goes, then he goes Super Saiyan. I knew I was in for a better fight, and I knew this was going to be a lot better because in the original Broly film, they treat Vegeta like a straight up bitch.
Oh yeah, he was bitching. He wasn't even in the fight for a good 45 minutes of the movie.
He sat there and cried the whole time. He's scared of him, and my God, it came true. No, stop it. No, when in the new movie when he finally attacks,
he's the first one to fight Broly.
He is, because when he finally attacks it, he blocks it, and you see that smarmy smirk. You know you're in for a good time.
And especially how Broly just kept keeping pace. Like the stronger they got, the stronger Broly was getting.
Yeah, and he's learning as he fights.
He's basically the equivalent of an Incredible Hulk because he just kept getting stronger because he kept getting more and more angry.
Yeah, and he was green too. And then we get Gogeta, finally canon.
Finally canon, yes.
I don't like how they keep making the whole dance thing Vegeta's bane of existence.
Yeah.
I wish that he would have been the one to suggest it.
Like he's like, listen, we need to fuse or something because we're out of options here. And he's like, I'd rather die than do that silly twink dance that you do or whatever.
Let's give that up.
Yeah, let it go, dude. We know you're a good guy. You're gonna do whatever it takes because Bulma's there.
But one thing I do like about the whole Super series and with these movies is that you're starting to see Goku become more of a Saiyan. All he wants to, and a lot of people misunderstand what Goku is because he was introduced in this country as basically Japanese Superman, and he's not that.
Same origin story, pretty much.
Because he's not that at all. Goku is a very selfish character.
Oh God, yeah.
He's very naive. All he wants to do is fight.
And think about it. He's selfish in the fact that he will let his opponents power up at the cost of he's like, I'm gonna let him get to 100, and that has cost people their lives.
And that's even back when Trunks tells them back in the Android saga that these androids are going to come kill you if you don't do something. Now Bulma says, why don't we use the Dragon Balls to erase them from existence? They say, nope. We want to test out our strength.
Please do, yeah.
We want to test ourselves. Let's go train.
And I think it was in that saga, even because Goku wanted to train Gohan, and Chi-Chi, one of the best lines, like, life is not a series of intervals in between kung fu matches.
But to these people, it is.
To him, it is. At least, Tien and Yamcha and Krillin and Gohan, these people all have lives. But Goku does not. That's what makes him selfish, is that these people can walk away from this life. And like, Yamcha has a very successful baseball career, which, props to him for cashing in on his abilities, because that's the first thing I'm going to do is if I have Krillin's abilities, I'm going to go play football.
Right.
And I'm going to bank.
But I love what they're doing with Goku. That he's because one of my favorite lines is his last line to Broly. Oh, what's your name? My name's Goku. But Broly, you can call me Kakarot. So he's embracing his Saiyan heritage, which he never really did before.
Not once, but I think he let him do it as a respect to his heritage, because the only other person that does call him Kakarot is also a Saiyan.
Yeah, his Vegeta. Yeah.
Yeah. And you definitely see Vegeta and Goku kind of switch roles. Like, Goku is less of a family man than Vegeta, and and we're supposed to be rooting for this guy.
I hope that eventually he's become so out of control, because the Tournament of Power was a huge risk. He put creation. He put all of creation at risk just to fight and see how powerful these people are. That is so selfish.
Against literally everyone's advice. Gods, angels, everyone was like, this is the stupidest thing that you could possibly do. Stop right now. Oh, come on, guys. I want to fight some bad guys. At the risk of 12 different universes
being erased.
That is the most selfish thing I've ever heard.
So, yeah, it's just...
Obviously, we have a lot to say about the character.
We do. Goku is one of those characters who is just ubiquitous throughout pop culture. You can't hardly look anywhere without seeing something related to Dragon Ball. It's absolutely everywhere. And even if you don't watch it, you've seen it.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Yeah. What's a Dragon Ball? What's a Goku? I hear that sometimes from my friends. What's a Goku? But
it's set, throw up a picture. It's this person. Oh yeah, I've seen that guy.
Yeah, you've seen that guy. But you can all tell that this series is something that just it holds a very special place in our hearts. Because animation today wouldn't be what children's TV wouldn't be what it is today without it. Anime wouldn't be what it is today without it. All of your, like I said before, your Narutos and your Bleaches and your Attacks on Titans, none of that happens without Dragon Ball Z. And I have a lot of appreciation for the impact that this series has had on pop culture in general, and on just my life and my interests and my tastes, because it was right up my alley. It was exactly what I wanted, and I didn't know I wanted it.
I think the reason I knew that I wanted it is because it came on right around the same time that I was in junior high and elementary school, and I was huge into like Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles, and this was just one more thing that I wanted to see. Yeah,
and see, I was different because I was a senior in high school when this came out, and I was, you couldn't really go back and watch the old cartoons that I watched when I was a kid, your Thundercats and He-Mans and Transformers and all that, unless you owned it.
Yeah, not until like Boomerang or something came out.
But when that came about, it awakened the little kid in me almost.
Right.
And I don't know, it changed everything from then on out for me. From that point on, I liked my action cartoons, and they just got so much more sophisticated as time went on. And they, like I said before, they all owe it to Dragon Ball Z, and I love this series, and I know you do too. A lot of people out there do. It has its problems,
but it also has less problems than it does just wonderful moments.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the good absolutely outweighs the bad. There are bad, but I can overlook them.
I can
still
too.
Love this show,
because guess what? I could skip the parts I don't
That's
like.
true, because we live in 2019 and I have fast forward.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was quite a talk.
Yes, it was.
Next week, we're gonna dial back and go back to the 30-minute-ish episodes, because the last two things, these are huge things that we love, but I think we're gonna try to scale it back unless it's really important to us. Like this one had to be this long.
Yes,
it absolutely
did.
had to be. So next week we're gonna keep it shorter, like we did the first couple of episodes, and I know you don't know. We had no idea what we were going to talk about when you got here, but I thought about it, and I think that we should talk about The Princess Bride.
Ooh. Yes. Yes. Yes,
right.
I'm on board.
No, the correct answer is As You Wish. All right. This was the Press Play podcast episode. I don't care. My name is Ian.
I'm Seth.
And we'll guys see you next week.
Thank you so much.